Oh, the joys. We're all good? We're all on? We're good?
That one's just turned on and start rolling. You might want to aim it a bit, but it should be good. Go. It was pretty good. Yeah.
I like it. What do I do with my hands?
Hold these. Hey guys, welcome back. This episode of Pronoobrc, we got our hands on yet another miniz all-wheel drive from our friends over at KYOSHO America. Fantastic, fantastic car this time. We got the Hellcat red eye version in it's a kind of really nice green. It's like a lime kind of green with a little bit of pearl on there. Ooh, it's so pretty. Let's get this guy out of the package. Probably looks good though with that white backdrop right now though. And once again, you get the manual. Always good to give that a read. And this cool little tray they give you with couple other different gear sets in there, a couple little tools, motor mount, and a little wheel wrench, and a button or a little tool to push the button for the binding on the multi ESC speed controller kind of deal there. And these would be set number 220 of these we have so far. We have a plan for those coming up though. You're gonna enjoy that. So, and then you get your classic KT531P radio, very nice little radio. Remember guys, when you get the car, it comes in training mode from the factory, so what you're going to need to do the first time you put batteries in the remote and the car is hold the throttle wide open and turn on that power switch back here. The light will flicker a couple times and then blink and say solid, letting you know you're in sport mode. We have posted this many times, and a lot of people come in the comments and go, hey, did you turn the car into sport mode? And so now we're going to do it right in the beginning of the video, and we're going to do it again in the end of the video and try to get it out there. It is missed quite often. It's nobody's fault. They should come in sport mode and then be switched to training mode. Too many people have picked up these cars and went, man, that's slow. So anyway, this is an all-wheel drive MA20, and this is going to be yet another one of our fabulous drift cars. The house here is all hardwood flooring, and it's all old, beat-up hardwood flooring from the previous tenants that had the house before. They never took care of it. So I can drift all over it, not worry about damaging it, not worry about tearing it up. Plus we have dogs, so let's get this off. Just a little bit of clear plastic to hold down over that vehicle body. Let Jesse get some shots on that. Yeah, so of course you're gonna notice there's a little yellow splitter on the front there. We're gonna paint that black because that shouldn't be on the car. That is a like a showroom piece. When you first get the car, you're supposed to peel that off when you own the car. It's a what is it called? Chin guard protector, whatever, splitter protector. So we're gonna paint that black. It looks absolutely ridiculous that they got that onto the car, but otherwise it looks fantastic. You get your little Hellcat SRT logo in there. You got the Hellcat badge on the side of the door, right in there. A fantastic little SRT on the front right here. You do have the, there's supposed to be intakes, the headlights to the inside. They kind of look like they go down inside. They're not all the way through, but they definitely gave the appearance of looking like that. So, and then around the back, we've got the really nice classic looking Challenger type taillights on the back, and it is in sublime green. I just went and looked it up so we could share that with you guys, with a nice matte black hood, roof, and trunk look. It looks absolutely amazing. I like the detail where they got the top of the rear deck for just above the taillights, top of the rear bumper. They got that in a matte black too. That looks fantastic. So just gorgeous little car. Now, that being said, they're great out of the box, but there's always room for improvement. We're going to start by throwing in a motor for this. The motor that we run is the X-Speed V motor, and you got to make sure it's for the ASF 2.4 gigahertz cars. Yeah, you want to make sure you get those ones. You don't want to get the older style radio, I don't know, or motor. I don't know if it's going to work or not with the radio, but just grab those ones. And then because we're going to use this one just for drifting, we got the front one way, and what that's going to do is when you hit the brakes, it lets the front tires free roll and just locks up the back, so you can initiate it into a slide a lot easier. And to go along with the front diff, we're going to do the spool for the rear end, which is going to lock the rear end, which is just going to make it want to slide a lot more. So that's going to go out rear. And of course, for drifting, we're going to use the gyro, the KYOSHO gyro. Works fantastic. Yeah, this is adjustable with a pot switch on the car, but we do run this on our Synchro Touch KYOSHO radio, which then is adjustable on the radio, which is awesome for kind of setting it up for different kind of drifting on the fly. And if the car will allow it, we will install a set of LED lights into it. So, okay, so to the hood, it's just basic MA20. We've seen them all before. They don't change any of this when it comes to putting a new body on it. So the wheelbase is the long wheelbase format in here for the car. So that might give it some different drifting characteristics versus our A86, which we did up the last time. So yeah, otherwise pretty cool. You have the ports on top where you put in your lights and your gyro. This little cover comes off, gyro goes in there. We are going to show it just quickly on the video as we put them in, but there's another video we have with the build on our AE86 or Trino, whatever you want to call them, of putting that in wrong and then flipping it over and figuring it out. Come learn with this, it's fun. The front one way. Is this one way? No, this is spool. So the front or rear spool, we're going to get that put together and throw that in there. In an upcoming video, we are going to show you on another one of our drift cars how we are going to install this rear spool with a bit of modifications by changing the gear ratio going to it and making some slight adjustments with this part. We'll show you really cool. But what that's going to do is increase the rear speed of the axle over the front speed. So the car is going to want to constantly have that back end fighting to get around the front. Well, not like that, but you know what I mean. It's going to want to always scoot around. They're called counter steer drift cars. Before rear wheel drive was a thing, it was all wheel drive, and then it was counter steer, and then it was rear wheel drive. So it's kind of the missing link cars kind of between the drift scenes. So it's kind of cool when you see a counter steer car. Jesse had one years ago. I painted it, never got to drive it. I don't even think he drove it at this point. So we're going to build a micro one. He's going to probably build one too, and we're going to have some fun with that. So enough talking about the chassis. Back to the body. Now, you got to look inside, and yeah. So this body does have provisions for the lights, and in the rear it's got for dual tail lights, and yeah, we could put dual headlights in the front too. So I was wrong, those are not an intake like your Demon would have. These are just, you know, where your bulbs go in. So to run dual sets of lights, they actually make a splitter, the MZW 429R-01. This is a 1-into-2-way splitter that works with the car. You can't just wire in two kits, they'll fry each other. So you need this little splitter to do it. It's got some wizardry and witchcraft into this part. So that will make that work for us and get this guy lit up looking just fantastic. So beautiful drift car to start with. Yeah, we're going to throw this motor in it. We're going to do this front axle. We're going to do the rear axle. We're not going to counter steer this car yet. We're going to do that to the Subaru. So we're going to start installing those parts. We are going to call our friends over to Eliminator RC in Winnipeg, where we picked up our car, where else we pick up always all our parts. And we're going to order up another one of these light kits. I think this was the last one he had in stock at the time, so I'm going to get him to order up a bunch of those because we're getting into that season. I'm going to start needing them for all my rides. Very cool piece, this double splitter, so you can run the full light kit. We have a Corvette that needs dual lights, and another car we have, and it was always kind of, you have to pick what you wanted. Now with that dual splitter, you can make it work pretty good. You guys know all these parts before. We've done this lots. We're just showing you the newest car that we got. We're not going to run this radio. We're going to put it on our Synchro Touch, nice touchscreen KYOSHO radio, gorgeous machine for this drifting, and we'll have some fun. Okay, so stay tuned, guys. We're going to get this guy ripped apart, start throwing all these parts into this little machine, and I think I'm going to knock those wheels to a matte black instead of the gloss black to kind of go with the on the matte black on top, because they're not popping, they're kind of bugging me. So we're gonna take those down, we're gonna mask them up, spray paint them, and make them look fantastic. We'll see you guys back in a few minutes. I'm gonna go get myself situated to start tearing this guy apart, putting this magic into that magic, and make some drift magic. And oh yeah, we're gonna call our friends Eliminator or another set of lights. So see you guys back in a few minutes. Okay guys, now for the second part of the video, we're gonna turn our Hellcat into a drift car so it can hang out the rest of our miniz all-wheel drives. We don't race them, remember, these are just our drift playthings. Starting out with this guy, he is bone stock, minus he has the hopped up motor in him, which is your MDW023, which is an X-Speed V motor. So we have that in this car. He's just a little bit quicker and does pretty good. He carries a lot of his weight back here with the shape of the body, so he actually hoons pretty good. This is our Celica, which turned into our AE86 that we did in a video, or Torino if you would. The windows just fell out of it with my big fat thumbs. I'm going to finish doing a little bit of work on there, but this guy is stanced in the front. It has the same X-Speed V motor in it and nothing else. Jesse's car has the stance in the front, the same motor, except Jesse's running a one-way in the front and a spool in the rear axle. So he's got his rear end locked up and he's got one way in the front, which means he can hit the brakes and his front diff can still roll, if you can see there. So it rolls forward but not backwards. So that allows him to hit the brakes and do nice spins and then get back on throttle power out of it. So we're going to put all the options from this car into this car today. And this guy being the longer and wider layout than all the other three here we have, this guy we're hoping is going to handle really, really good. So let's get started. Jesse's going to do the installation of this stuff. I'm just doing the intro part, so you get to watch Jesse work his magic and get this project going. I'm going to go in the meantime, scalp a set of lights, because remember we could only get one from our friends over at Eliminator RC, but we have the dual connector, and this guy is going to run 2 light kits. So I'm going to go steal a set of lights out of our Corvette, actually. We get a lot of complaints on the racetrack with having lights. Guys don't want us to have them on there. It hurts your eyes, they can't concentrate. Oh, no, my eyes. Oh, my blinky, the blinky hurts. So, so yeah, we're gonna put the miniz one-way front differential, part number MDW017. And we're gonna put the rigid rear axle, part number MDW024. And the motor, the X-Speed V motor for the 2.4 all-wheel drive ASF car, which is part number MDW023. Be careful when you're buying motors. There's all different types and tons of motors. Make sure it is compatible, like all these parts are, with your car. And then the Camber kit, we don't have a part number for that.
I have it. I'll throw it in the description below.
Insert part number for Camber kit here. Jesse will put the description for the part number for the Camber parts. It is all authentic miniz parts that we use on our builds with the miniz stuff. There is other brands that make other parts, but we have some for our buggy. We couldn't get all those parts in authentic miniz. There's other good brands, I think Route 249 or 246 or whatever they are. Great stuff like that. But on this build today, we're just going to use authentic miniz parts, guys. And remember, we picked up the car, all these parts, Eliminator RC, Winnipeg, Manitoba, EliminatorRC.com. Use promo code Pronoobrc on checkout.
There's a little, what do you call it, a colostomy bag?
Yeah. Get the colostomy bag out of there.
I'm surgically digging it out right now.
That's where the bad doo-doo goes when you give her too much throttle.
Jeez. Come on, bruh.
Cough. Oh my god.
Colostomy bag.
Yes.
Colostomy bag. Colostomy bag. Colostomy bag. Colostomy bag. Alright. And there is a special tool that you get with some kits. This little thing right here. And this is your little popper. that nice and easy. So this back piece only goes on one way because it's got a flat part right here. Flat part.
Yeah, you had a good one there.
And then this has a little shelf that goes on the top of your motor. The new motor also has a colostomy bag.
That's where the good doo-doo goes.
The good doo-doo goes in this one. And she's in. Slap this cover back on. Easy as that, ladies and gentlemen. Robert is your mother's brother.
Robert is your mother's brother.
Rigid axle. We have the rigid axle. Comes with instructions. I already know what to do. So got your packaging. You're going to get 3 small screws. And your screws will disconnect. You put your, you just screw them into there, and then it's ready for installation. So for this, you just remove your 6 screws, holding the back on, loosen them all up. Don't just take them all out one at a time because you don't want to bind any of your stuff. Break it. Once it's all loose, you can start tearing it down. All these screws are the same for back here, so it's okay if you mix them up. And this one's actually pretty cool because it is the LL, the double long. It has these extra spacers that allow it to go another hole backwards.
That's crazy.
I know, right?
Wow.
Only one of its kind
Wow.
that I know of. Don't quote me on that.
No, well, that's the only one I've ever seen.
Yeah. Alright, I will assemble the one-way before I get it ready to install. It is the same idea as the rigid, except in this case you have these cups that go inside here, and inside there is your one-way bearing set inside. But your gear is the exact same install as your rigid. Gear? Is it gear?
Ring gear, yeah.
Ring gear. There you go. You get the same 3 screws, and you also get these little spacers, and they go on there. Like that.
Those are the new drive cups.
New drive cups.
Okay. And those slide into that one, the housing which has a one-way bearing.
Yes.
Super simple.
Very simple.
And genuine KYOSHO?
Of course.
Perfect.
We don't mess around with any of that stuff.
So,
well, we do, but just not in this case. I mean,
we're flexing today because we're not.
so to start here, in order to get this cover off, you have to remove your...
Hold up. Do you want to take the front tires off to do the knuckles now or later?
I'll just do the knuckles after.
Okay.
Like when I put it back together. Just take off your little
upper hinge pin.
Upper hinge pin. Careful, your springs will pop out here, and you can just...
And there's 2 positions for the springs. Make sure you keep it in the position it needs to be
on the outermost side. And same with the other side. And one thing to notice too, when you're putting stuff back, you'll notice that your springs are on the outside. You can tell by the W. That's wide. Some of the other ones have N for narrow, and that means that your spring placement is on the outside for
the 2 positions there.
For the 2 positions.
So if it's narrow, put them on the outside. Wide, put them on the outside. Or narrow, put them on the inside. Wide, put them on the outside. Yeah, okay.
Inside, yeah.
I got you.
And there's 2. You can see there's 2 spots.
Okay, yeah, you can see them there. So the outside one's for wide chassis, inside for narrow. Cool. I knew that already, but it's fun learning this way for other people.
So we're going to be changing this knuckle to these, which has a 3-degree camber, little 3 on it, letting you know it's about 3 degrees. Now that everything's placed in there nicely, it's just easier to put the axle, the dog bones back in to there when it's all exposed rather than have this cover on, so that's why I did it this way. Now you can put the cover back on. All ready to go at your degrease.
Nice and degreasy.
Your special degrease. So yeah, I'll throw the wheels back on and...
Those Mopar wheels?
I don't think so. There you go. We're all cambered out, bruh. Looks good. And yeah, you see your one-way working right there. Can you move forward without everything else, and they still.
So, is he Drifty Boy now?
Yeah.
What?
All ready to Drifty Boy.
You just need some Drifty Boy lights so people know
Drifty
that we're
Boy
here for
lights.
Drifty Boy reasons.
Gyro.
Eru?
Eru!
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 Woo!
And
okay.
yeah, simple, easy, love it.
Okay, so we're gonna steal the lights out of the Corvette. And we're going to put the lights over there, and we're going to put them in lights with that, and we're going to come back over here in a few minutes. Okay, now that Jesse finished getting that chassis ready for Drift Boy status, we're going to work on the body. Everybody knows you want to be a Drifty Boy, you got to have blinky, flashy lights and stuff like that so people know that you're there for more than just driving. KYOSHO makes a lot of their models, but not all of their models ready for lights. And all you got to do is knock off this bit of hot glue that they put there and pop out the little LED light retainer piece that goes in the hole. Now with these lights, I've noticed on the Hellcat here, they're a little loose. So I'm heating up the soldering iron right now, not at 900 degrees. We'll back that down a little bit. And I'm going to take my soldering pencil? Yeah, soldering pencil torch, whatever they call that guy. And then remelt the plastic, because that's the style they use to get that all secure in there, and just retighten up those headlights. They're kind of falling out. So, yeah, so knock out some of the glue. Hold the light down while you're doing it, because you can just rip it right out and cause other damages. And don't pry directly on these. You can actually push them into the light, like I did on the Jeep. That one. There's a little tail you can grab and just lightly grab with a pair of flush cuts and pull it out.
That's cool.
Not all the time though. See? Nice. Yeah, take your time. Okay, so we've got all the holes exposed for the sweet tail lights and the headlights in the front. It's gonna look awesome, awesome, awesome. This guy all lit up. So. Now, Mr. Corvette, we race him on the track. He is a MR03, all set up, ready, buck. He's got his transponder, bone stock car. He does have the kingpin flip done to him. Just that's about it. Kingpin flip, everything else bone stock, and a little MyLapse or whatever it is transponder. But he's got LEDs in there. A lot of guys complain about the LEDs on the track. So to keep all the ladies happy, we're gonna just pop these guys out and put them into our other car. So I just use shoe glue to hold in place. You can see the nice little bit of rubber. Just pull that off. Bob's your uncle. Done. Okay, so we got the basic harness out. You can see how it's already been fit into a car. It's kind of the shape that they're both going to have to fit into. It's nice. They do the heat shrink on the back in red, the front in black. Very nice and simple. Now, Jesse and I were just discussing, when you order the light kits, make sure you do not order the ones for the ICS connector unless you're running an old school car that has the ICS connector that it works with. You want to make sure you get the ones that have the 4 wires running to the plug. The ones that we use are the MZW 429R. They have 4 wires running to the 4 ports on the plug. The ones for the ICS connectors have 3 wires running and some looping and magic going on, but you can cut them and resolder them. If you have another pin you could steal, you can cut and resolder them. Jesse and I did that for a set because we were in the 11th hour and we wanted to get a project done. I didn't feel like ordering more stuff, so we just did it. So make sure this table's nice and clean. Let's start laying in the first kit. Now remember, we also have the splitter. We have the MZW 429R01 splitter for these lights. So you can actually run 2 light kits off of the one connector. So you got a 1 into 2. You can't just split it up. It doesn't work that way. There's too much going on. You do need the little controller to split that up. Yeah, so we have the connector here that we're gonna run. It plugs into your light port, and we're gonna mount it right here onto the front with a little bit of double-sided tape as low as we possibly can. It's a challenge. It's gonna have a lot of room to clear the port, but we're gonna put that there out of the way of the gyro that's gonna sit into that hole coming up. So we're gonna run it like that, get that wire tucked down in there nicely and clean, and we're gonna put that guy right there. You kind of want to just make sure where you're putting it is not going to interfere with your windshield. That actually might not be the greatest spot, so you want to do a test fit. See, that's not going to work. It's too close to the windshield, so let's move that back into the main cabin in the car somewhere. So right on top behind the gyro here, or I can run this actually back over here on top of the radio box, completely out of the way.
Nice.
Right here. So yeah, you always want to do test fitting. We use a little bit of 3M double-sided tape. There we go, nice little plug back there. Okay, back to the car. So these are all going to function the same as long as your reds are all in the back holes where they need to be. You could do 2 to one side like I'm going to do, and 2 to the other side. Try to keep it somewhat simple. The beauty about shoe goo is you can just go like that, peel a lot off the bulb that you've used before. Keep everything looking pretty good and clean. Okay, so these headlights are a little bit loose from factory, so I'm going to take my soldering unit here and just remelt some plastic. Real kind of plastic, weld that down. You don't want to do too much and distort anything. Just a little bit. There, so those headlights are nice and secure now. Just, I like to kind of go through, lay it out like I know it's going to fit into the car. The car's only this long, the wires are much longer, so get a couple bends into them, kind of get it situated so it's in a platform or a shape that'll fit into the platform we're working with, and then start installing it. And I'm just going to throw a tiny zip tie right around the moose knuck over all these wires and come into a bird's nest here. It's probably going to get cut off because it's going to be in the way, but hey, live and learn. Okay, so in the front, you want to make sure these wires are actually going to be bent a little bit, so you got to work them carefully. Kind of push them towards the middle. You don't want them interfering with the wheels, so you want to get them like that. Bend them up towards the middle. There we go. We go. Cables run nice. So now the only thing left to do is put batteries in the car. Hook that up. See how that looks. We'll throw the gyro in it, and then we'll go upstairs and do some drift and get some footage of tearing up the crappy hardwood floor we have in this old house. Yeah, so it looks absolutely fantastic. We got the lights at the front rocking. The back look amazing with the dual rear It does have the brake lights. When you go forward, the headlights stay the same, and when you hit the brake lights, they light up and get brighter for the rear. So looks really nice with the dual rears and the dual front headlights on it. We do notice it is glowing through the side of the body a little bit, so we're probably going to back paint the inside of the body black because it shouldn't glow through like that. So just makes it look more evil though. Hellcat, you know. Yeah, we're gonna back paint the inside of this shell black so we don't have that leak through. It shouldn't do that. So besides that, looks fantastic. I'm gonna actually get this guy set up on my Synchro Touch 531 radio, or 431, or 17,495, whatever it is, so we can go do some hooning around. We're gonna play with that new rear solid spool, and that front one-way is gonna be just off. Okay guys, so that's the end of this video. The car's looking amazing, just what we wanted. Now remember, this is the long and the wide all-wheel drive. This is our first long and wide all-wheel drive. So it's actually going to be a lot more fun, I think, than what we're used to. This guy's nice, but you know, his footprint's a lot smaller, right? So this guy's going to be a little bit easier to handle, maybe not. I don't know. We're going to go find out. We're going to bring the camera with us. You guys come check that out. And a couple little things. We're going to paint it black from behind so we can hide that glow coming through. I don't know if you see that, but I can, and it doesn't fly around here. So we're going to fix that. And we also need to get rid of that stupid yellow splitter guard thing that shouldn't be on the car. Besides that, looking good. We'll get some drift video, and we'll see you guys on the next one. Did I mention the gyro?
Yep.
Good, yeah.
Put it in.
We're gonna put gyro in. Easy.